Yo, JD here, Tyrrell Limnus, and as you can see here today, this is going to be my first video in the F1 tip series. Hopefully I'll do a video a week on this one. So my first video in the F1 2016 tip series, and today we're going to be talking about how to drive in the wet. I know I've been doing my wet driving school where I've been doing the time trial for each track in order, which I will continue doing as well. But for this one, this gameplay here was actually me in an AOR social race from last night. Managed to get the pole position qualifying, and in qualifying it was in the dry. So this is me using a dry setup, and I've never done Suzuka in the wet as well, in the full wet on this. So I thought this would be a really good video of just going through my thoughts of transitioning from the dry into the wet, because I've never done the wet round here, and this was with a dry setup. So this is with 7.6 wings, I believe, with my normal Suzuka setup, which you'll be able to see in my hot lap series. So I'm using that same setup for this, and this is just some raw gameplay, and you'll be able to see I'm going to go off the track a few times in the first few laps. I'm going to show you the first 3 laps because this is me learning the track, and I just thought this would be a really good just raw gameplay of just showing how I actually learn it, how I actually adapt from being dry qualifying into the wet, and just giving you a few tips of how I improve and how I just learn the track. You can see we're going in deep there, so at the moment we really don't know where to brake or anything at all, and you'll be able to see at the end of this video I really do get the hang of it, and just a few things I'll be saying in this hopefully can help you guys out. So the first thing I would say, well, first thing I'm going to say is that you can see we're off the track there, so it's some strict rules you'll be able to see as well. Some really good drivers in here, so Andre, BCFC, Lucky Dog, we've got some CRL people in here, we've got some Jason, or Jason97 F1 in here. So these guys are pretty good drivers. They're not just a typical sprint mode drivers or anything like that. These are really good drivers, competitive drivers, and it's nice for a change to just be able to race some people who don't want to blow you up 24/7. So you can see the end of his first lap, pretty sketchy first lap really here. Not really comfortable because it is so different to the dry in this. If you've never done the wet in this game, it is so different. It's literally about 15 seconds slower than it is in the dry, sometimes even 20 seconds depending on the track that you are doing. So it's a real big leap in here. And for me in the wet, I've said it in my other videos as well, typically you really want to be braking about 20 to 30 meters before what you would normally do in a dry. I say about 30 meters ish, which I know is really hard to judge, but just try and visualize that in your head when you're driving. So coming around here, you can see normally I'm at the red board just a little bit before this time. You notice we're using quite high gears, so you don't want to be using, well, I say that, but we use second gear, but you can see we didn't get a great exit, but hopefully you'll be able to see at the end of this video. So staying in 5th gear for this one, and downshifting quite late. You don't want to downshift too early, because the earlier you downshift and the quicker you downshift, the car becomes a lot more unsettled. The back end really does step out, so you really want to downshift slowly, just to avoid the oversteer, just keeping the rear of the car as stable as possible. You can see here now, getting a groove a bit. There's no brake marker board there because someone's actually taken it out, so we're really just guessing of where to brake for this one. We can see now we're starting to get into rhythm a little bit, building a little bit of a lead at the moment. And you can also notice as well with the fuel mix, rich on the straights, going through here, see what happens here. Do we go out wide? Manage to just keep it on, and you can see we're going to go back down to lean. So rich on the straights, and definitely lean through most of the track, because if you go and lean, it just avoids the revs going up too high, and that actually gives you better traction. It will actually give you a better launch off the corners in the wet. In the dry, don't really want to be using lean too much unless you're behind someone on the straight and you're just saving fuel. On 2014, that definitely used to help quite a bit, but on this game, you want to be using lean quite a bit in the wet. And you can see we're still learning the track on that first part, but you can see now we're actually moving on to the end of the race. We're driving really well. If you can't see my gameplay footage that well at the top, it actually says I've done a 150.5 at the moment, which is my fastest lap. And you can see these next 3 laps coming up now are within the same tenth of a second. So this is consistency at my best, and I've said this before, consistency is what wins you races. Obviously you have to be fast and the raw speed, but it's consistency that really does decide the main factors for this. And just giving you a few more things, as I said, with the fuel as well, using lean for most of that. The only time I use rich is on the actual pit straight and on this back straight, basically when you're on a straight for more than 5 seconds. So you can see here, this is curving, so this is a straight, but it's actually curving a bit, so you don't really want to be using rich through here, because you can see we're not even going on full throttle until about 4th or 5th gear. So if you can't go on full throttle on 4th or 5th gear for no longer than 5 seconds, it's really not worth your time actually changing up into rich, because even that's not completely instant. When you change your fuel mix, it actually takes a second or two for the revs to actually completely adjust to that fuel mix. So you can see now, got a nice little straight here, so going rich, and we're going to be braking just before that board on top. Nice early apex. Early apexes are really what you want to be doing quite often in the wet around here. So carrying a nice bit of speed, early apex into this, and you don't want to really go full throttle until your car's completely straight. So 4th gear up into 5th, that's where you want to really be on full throttle. So you can see 50.6 for this lap. So just try and remember that. And I also got to say as well, the reason why my footage is not the highest quality, because I'm still unfortunately using Movie Maker, because I've been making so many videos recently. I just haven't moved over to Sony Vegas, but I will be moving over, and I am getting a new capture card as well, the HD60. So hopefully in the future be 1060 p HP HD, so it should be crystal clear hopefully for the future. But you can see on these apps now, nice early apexes. Don't go full throttle until we're about 5th gear. You can see now 5th gear, that's why I'm going full throttle just before it's red banner, turning in early apex again. It's all about the corner entry speed, so really just try and go as fast as possible through the corners, and then just try and take care of the car on the exits. You can see flat out into this as the curb ends. Do a nice early apex, stay really tight for this. Going up through the gears, half throttle, 2nd gear, 3rd gear, almost flat out. Try and keep as flat out as possible. A little bit of a lift there because the car can squiggle out, and staying in lean as well, because lean just really is probably the biggest thing. I know a lot of people I've seen, or I've been speaking to, they just keep it in medium, and they think staying in rich is actually the quickest way because you're going to get more revs and faster on the straight. And yeah, it will definitely help you on the straight, but in the wet, you really want to be using lean pretty much 75% of the time. It's really just going to give you a much better exit because the revs are actually limited, and that means even if you go on full throttle, the car is not going to wheel spin as much as it would do if it was in a higher mix range and rich mix. So you can see nice early apex again. Wait till the car's straight most of the time. You really don't want to be going on full throttle as you're turning the steering wheel. So you can see again a 50.6 once again, so within the same 10th second of the last lap. So this is just consistency being really nice, just getting in a nice rhythm of this race, which I also feel is really important for if you're in a competitive race or like a league race. Really just trying to, obviously you want to be pushing hard, you want to be driving the best you can, but really just trying to save a little bit in the tank. So just trying to drive at 90% most of the time. If you're in a comfortable situation, you've got a bit of a gap, really just focusing on just hitting those braking points, apexes each lap, just really focusing on that rather than other people around you, not focusing on other drivers or thinking of the gap behind you or anything like that. You really just want to be focusing on just hitting that same point every single lap, and if you get in the rhythm of that, it will just become like driving a car or riding a bike. It will just become like second nature. You won't even really think about it after a while. It'll just be something that'll be just really natural to use. It just really, for me, I just try and visualize a racing line. I know it sounds really gay, but you want to know what I think when I'm driving. I really just try and visualize a racing line when I'm driving. I really just try and hit those points every single lap. So there'll be a point in the track where I'll be looking for a reference point, which I'll know where to brake. But after a while, you'll know how much pressure to use when you're braking and everything as well. And you can see trail braking is quite a big thing. You may notice through the throttle and braking application being very smooth with the braking and throttle. You can see, hopefully here we'll be able to see 100%, and you can see 50%, 50-ish% as we're going easing off into the corners. As you're rotating the car, that's when we'll be easing off the throttle, off the brake, and as the car's straight, that's where you want to be going on full power. So that is just a raw gameplay. 50.6 against us, 3 laps in a row. We've done a 50.6 right there. So I just thought that was just a really good piece of gameplay, just to show you guys of what it's like to be consistent. Just my tips. So basically just using lean mix as much as possible. Really just trying to brake about 20 to 30 meters earlier that you would be in the dry. And just getting the rhythm, just being consistent, just focusing on those braking points every single lap. Just trying to really just visualize your own racing line and just trying to hit that every single time. So hopefully that has been useful for you. If you didn't know, which I get asked quite a lot, I'm actually on a controller using default settings, and I'm using no assist as well. So this is as hard as it gets. And no assist, I was using a dry setup as well. Just so you could see how I was actually adjusting to the track. So hopefully that has been useful to you guys. If you did like this video, please leave a like. Hopefully my career mode is going to be coming soon. I know a lot of people have been asking about that recently. I've actually had wisdom teeth going through recently, so that's why I haven't really been able to do a commentary till now. So please, hopefully it'll be out this week. So that is something to look forward to. So thank you so much for the support recently. Almost some 14,000 subscribers now. That is just absolutely insane. I can't believe I'm even saying that. So thank you so much for the support. It's been absolutely insane. Ask me anything you want to down below, and I will catch you next time. Enjoy the race today. Cheers.